Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to the video. So the S&P 500 broke to a new all-time high on Friday of last week, and in this video we're going to be talking about what that all-time high break means moving forward for the market, what to watch for, and what needs to happen for immediate upside to stay intact or a possible pullback to happen. We'll also be going over the top 3 trade ideas that I'm watching in the week and weeks ahead, along with the setup on Bitcoin, and as always there are timestamps in the description. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. So starting out by taking a look at the S&P 500 with the SPY chart. Last week continued the bullish trend for the market. In last weekend's video, we went over how 590 to 592.6 was the key support that must hold to keep direct upside in play, and that zone held exactly where it needed to early in the week last week. And from there, we went over the biggest resistance levels, which were at 600 to 601 and then 605 to 606, and both of these broke to the upside and acted as strong upside triggers, ultimately leading to a new all-time high for the S&P on Friday. So the previous all-time high was at 613.23, which it broke and closed above on Friday after a slight fake out and reclaim in the afternoon. So a few things to note into next week is this week's moves was essentially a range breakout from the range that had been building out since May. The easy move of that breakout is likely now done, and the trend has gotten pretty extended. Now that doesn't mean in any way that this move should be faded or shorted, but it does mean that we should be on the lookout for at least some choppy price action from here and potentially a pullback. So the key levels to watch as support are at 613.23, which was that previous all-time high, and then 610, 605 to 606, and 600 to 601. As long as these levels hold, buyers will continue to be in full control of the trend, and for the immediate term bull case, pullbacks ideally see no lower than 605 to 606 from here, as that was the most recent breakout, but below there, 600 to 601 would be the must-hold support zone below, or can result in a larger pullback if it was to break back below that zone. It will also be important to see how the market reacts to this breakout to a new all-time high next week. A major sign of strength would be if it's able to hold and potentially build out a consolidation above that 613.23 previous all-time high level, but choppiness or a pullback to a key support would not be surprising at all, and it would only be a caution sign if 605 to 606 and 600 to 601 breaks. If it successfully holds above those levels, expect dips to continue to be bought and the immediate term bull case to stay intact. Now taking a look at the top individual stocks and trade ideas that I'm watching into next week, starting out with Bitcoin, ticker symbol BTC. So since Bitcoin broke out above 100,000 in late May, it has been building out a new consolidation in bull flag for more than a month. The way Bitcoin moves is pretty simple. It builds out these consolidation ranges or chart patterns, and then once it breaks out of those patterns, it gets the directional moves where the money is made. And now that it has been building out this pattern for over a month, the next directional move is likely coming soon. So zooming into the chart, the current bull flag pattern that it has built out has well-defined trendline resistance, which currently lines up with about 108,500. So that is the breakout trigger to watch from here, which can start that next upside move, likely to new all-time highs once it does break. Something like this could be looked at as the immediate term bull case, where it builds out a tight consolidation here and then breaks above 108,500 to start that breakout move to new highs. It could easily build out this range for longer, but now that it has spent over a month within this bull flag, that potential break could happen at any time and should be kept on very close watch for when it does so. If it does see another dip, 100,000 and the trend line at about 96 to 98,000 on the downside would be the main levels of interest for dip buys. So now getting into the individual stocks to keep on close watch in the week ahead. A stock that I'm keeping on close watch is Amazon, ticker symbol AMZN. So after it successfully backtested the 195.85 to 200 key zone, along with the 200-day moving average as support, it ran up to $218 per share and built out a well-defined consolidation range below there. This was a very well-defined resistance and setup on a stock that always has a lot of eyes on it, so it's a pretty straightforward trade. It did have some volatility on Friday though, as it gapped out of the range in the morning, which triggered that range breakout, and from there it ran up to 221.5, where it found resistance. Then after failing below 220, it also briefly broke below the 218 key level. So failing below 218 should have resulted in a failed breakout, and usually with failed breakouts, there will be more aggressive downside as a result, as for example with the buyers who bought the breakout above 218 likely have their stop losses back below 218, but the failure below 218 did not last long as it reclaimed back above with big strength and ran back up to new intraday high to close the day. The resiliency that it showed to keep the breakout intact after that quick fail below is a major sign of strength, and it gives it a great chance for a larger move higher from here. So into next week, watch 220 and then 218 to hold as key supports in order to keep Friday's breakout intact. and holding above those levels sets up larger upside to target 225 to 226.2, 230, and then the 235.92 gap fill as those next target levels above. TOST, ticker symbol TOST, is another stock to keep on close watch in the week ahead. So this stock had a large gap up and breakout move in early May above $40 per share in the trendline resistance, and from there it ran up to 45 to 45.6 where it found resistance in the top of the range. So since then, it has been building out a well-defined consolidation range for close to 2 months, with a trendline acting as new support, and 44 and 45 to 45.6 acting as key resistances in the top of the range. This is a very long and well-defined consolidation range, so once it breaks, it can see a violent move to the upside. This is a very similar setup as Coherent, ticker symbol COHR, which is a trade idea that we went over last week, as once that breakout played out, it ran about 10% in 2 days, and probably has a larger run in store as long as that breakout successfully holds. So with TOST breaking above 45 to 45.6, triggers that range breakout move and opens upside for the next leg higher to target the levels above at 48.9 to 50, and then 55.5 above there. Range breakouts like these are easy to keep risk low on, as for example, this could be buyable for the breakout above 45.6, and you could play with a stop loss either back below 45 or at 44, so no more than 2 to 4% risk, with much larger upside if that breakout plays out and successfully follows through. New Holdings, ticker symbol NU, is another stock that I'm keeping on close watch in the week ahead. So this stock built out a very tight range for exactly a month, and then last week it finally broke out of it, triggered by the successful break and hold above the 200-day moving average. So from there, it ran up to the 13.65 to 13.73 key resistance zone, which was the previous swing high and current double top. As we can see, this is now built out a potential cup and handle pattern, and breaking above the 13.65 to 13.73 key zone triggers the breakout. Breaking above there has potential for an explosive move higher, and the above targets would be at 14.05, 14.5, 15.1 to 15.15, and then the previous all-time high at around 16. For the breakout, it could be buyable above 13.73, with a stop loss slightly below 13.5 or so to keep risk tight, and with that, it offers a great risk versus reward setup. So that is what I'm watching for in the week ahead. It will be important to watch how the market reacts to the all-time high breakout on Friday into next week, whether it holds up here and tightens up or pulls back. It will give us a good idea of what we can expect next from the broad market. Thank you guys for watching. If for anybody interested in joining the private Discord chat, that is the first link down in the description to get my personal trade alerts, not any watch lists, and I answer any questions you guys have in there. Good luck trading the week ahead, and I will catch you all next time, and peace out.